I saw a woman with curly hair and very red eyes. It looked like as if her eyes were filled with blood.
Oh,
Yeah, it was very scary, and
Okay.
I did not know what to do at that time. For me, the best thing was like to just take the blanket on my head and just go off to sleep.
हेलो गाइस 100 शो में आपका स्वागत है. माय नेम इज श्लोक. वी हैव विद अस आवर गेस्ट टुडे मिस सौजन्या करकेरा.
Hi.
शी इज़ अ साइकिक हीलर, clairvoyant. A clairvoyant जिनको नहीं पता है, a clairvoyant is someone who can see ghost very clearly and she can also hear ghost apart from being a clairvoyant. Welcome to the show.
Thank
So
you
over
so
to
much. Thank you so much for calling me here. It was a lovely experience to share my story with you guys.
you. Okay. Please tell me now about what you do, ma'am. What is your thing in the paranormal society, paranormal being? How do you see things?
Okay, so since childhood days, I could experience all these strange things. So I never had the answer to it. So lately, I started getting to know more about it by joining pairs. I attended their ghost encounters tour. So there I got to learn a lot of things about paranormal. So basically, I joined them to know and to remove the fear out of mine. That was the main motto of mine in my life. Like, I have had sleepless nights because I have seen a lot of things. So I wanted to learn more and get to know to a point like what it is paranormal.
ऐसा क्या हुआ जिसके वजह से आपको ऐसा लगा that you want to do this and you want to get into this? Because as a profession you are a hairstylist and you do a lot of things apart from this. So what happened in your childhood or what happened previously that you had to get into this? Why a psychic and what do you see? As a clairvoyant, what do you see?
Okay, so my first experience, I will tell you that what happened was like we had to relocate to this new place. So my dad just got a new job, so we shifted. So everything was going good over there, pretty good. Like, it was a very huge society. We had all the amenities available over there. So as a kid, it was like a happening place for me. So we had everything like a badminton court, this and that. So it was very exciting in the beginning, and for me it was like I wanted to explore the place. It was a huge colony, so I wanted to see what all is there in this society. So I went exploring, and like I found two spots in this society that gave a very different vibe. Like, I felt like just not to stay too long over there. So there was this one spot which had a well, and you can just imagine like what is a well doing in such a big colony.
Right.
And it was a huge well which was covered,
Okay.
and like the backstory is that people have dumped stuff over there.
Okay. How old were you when you saw all these things?
I was 10 years old.
And is this society in Mumbai?
Yeah.
Oh, would you like to tell the name?
No.
Okay. तो आपको ऐसा क्यों अजीब लगा कि यहाँ पे कुछ डम्प हुआ है? Like did someone tell you? आपको किसी ने कुछ बताया? या
Actually,
फिर-
this was a backstory which I got to know later on.
Okay.
Yeah, previously I did not know anything about this. I just was exploring as a normal kid, like it's a new place for me. I wanted to see like और क्या है इधर.
Right.
तो वैसे ही मैं चल के एक्सप्लोर कर रही हूँ क्योंकि इतना बड़ा सोसाइटी है, like 14 buildings
Oh.
in this society. तो मैं चल के जाती थी, इधर उधर घूम रही हूँ.
Okay.
तो there was this one more place. It was like totally abandoned kind of a garden. So the backstory of the garden is that when kids would play there, no, so they would dig the mud to play. They would get bones.
Oh.
So these bones were not the usual animal bones. They were
Okay.
big bones. So you can imagine it might be obviously a human bone.
Okay.
Yeah, and there were like many injuries that were happening in that place. Like, kids would fall down and get injured like very seriously. So like then in the society this kept happening. So then they all the members, they got to a conclusion that to break down this garden, and they shifted it to another place. But that land was still connected to the society. So for me, I did not know this. I got to know this later on, but I used to sense in that particular area a lot of things. Like I would feel as if somebody is following me or somebody is watching from there, and sometimes I would see shadows that are moving around. So for me, it was like very freaky at that point of time. And like one incident happened over there. So I was staying at my friend's place and we were playing, and it was too late and I had to go home. So I asked my friend to drop me halfway at least, because I was very scared to pass from that place, because I kept on seeing these things and I just ignored it. And then I told my friend, तो she was like, नहीं बहुत late हो गया है, तू चली जाना अकेले. So I was like, oh God, I have to go from there now. So I was like, okay, ठीक है. And I was just motivating myself, you're strong, this and that. And I'm just talking to myself and passing by. And suddenly I heard a footstep over there.
Okay. Okay.
So I thought maybe my friend came to drop me, and I just turned back.
Hmm.
But to my shock, there was nobody around.
Okay.
And the way I got scared, I just ran away home.
How old were you that time?
Yeah, 10 years only.
It's the same time. So
Yeah.
didn't you discuss this with your parents?
Yes, I
बात नहीं
did.
किया?
I did tell them stuff. But before that, also, I was seeing things, so I would tell it to them. So they would say either you're dreaming or it's your hallucination. So nobody understood me. So I was like, whom to talk to then? So I kept quiet.
Okay.
And I would silently, take all of that.
Okay. Did anything in your experience hurt you? Did any ghost want to hurt you or anything
Hurt
that you
in the sense
saw?
I had the out body experience.
Hmm.
So then, after this incident that happened, the shadow thing, I ran home and like I went to sleep. And in the night, I was just thinking about what happened
Okay.
in the night. Like I saw this shadow, from where did it come? There was nobody on the road,
Hmm.
and why was it following me? And what was the footsteps? I was trying to recollect
Okay.
all of that, and I slept.
Okay.
And the very same night, I felt in the middle of the night somebody entered the room.
Okay.
And I tried to see, and it was dark, so I couldn't see that much. So I thought maybe it is my sister who's come in the room. And I slept.
Hmm.
But then suddenly again I heard a noise. It was very a whispering kind of a noise.
Okay.
And I thought, what is this? Like, who's making this noise? Now my sister won't do such a noise. So I just tried to see, and to my shock, I still remember that incident. Like, I saw a woman with curly hair and very red eyes. Like it looked like as if her eyes were filled with blood.
Oh.
Yeah, it was very scary, and I did not know what to do at that time. For me, the best thing was like to just take the blanket on my head and just go off to sleep. This was my experience. Then the next morning, I got up and I just asked my mom, let's to confirm, like, did somebody come in the room? So I spoke to my mom and I told her this. Did anyone come in the night? She was like, nobody came in the night. So then I told, then did Cherry come, my sister, my elder sister? So she was like, no, she's doing an overtime. She's in office.
Oh.
So I got freaked out and I was like, then who was that in the night? And then I was like, what I saw was something. I was not dreaming. I really saw it with my eyes. And that was a scary moment for me.
So did you consult anyone else apart from your parents?
I used to tell it to my friends, but obviously my friends were my age, so they would also get scared. So they would say, यार मेरे को ये story मत बता, नहीं सुनना है मेरे को.
Now that you are experienced and you know what it was and what happened, what it is, do you go to visit that place and just to check on कि अभी क्या है वहाँ पे?
I have been once over there, but then now they are breaking down that place.
Okay, the
So
building
something
they are breaking
else is
down.
going to come up over there. So there's construction going on over there. So we cannot enter in.
Okay, and did you get a chance to speak to other people who are living in that society कि आपके साथ ऐसा कुछ हुआ है क्या?
There were a lot of backstories, but nobody experienced it in the way I experienced, what I saw and all.
Okay.
हाँ, there were just stories going on, like ऐसा हुआ था यहाँ पे, पहले ग्रेवयार्ड था यहाँ पे, ऐसा ऐसा, उसके ऊपर ये बिल्ड हुआ है सोसाइटी. तो दैट वाज द स्टोरी.
ओके. ओके. सौजन्या, ये इंसिडेंट्स जो आपके साथ हुआ था व्हेन यू वर 10 ईयर ओल्ड, आपके साथ ये फिर हुआ है कभी? लाइक कभी आपने एक्सपीरियंस किया है वही चीज़ दैट इज रिपीटिंग, और कोई आपके रूम में एंटर कर रहा है, या फिर आपने फिर से किसी को देखा है? वॉज इट जस्ट वन ऑफ अ टाइम?
No, I kept seeing things in a
Okay.
different, timeline and all that.
Okay.
But then one such incident again happened. Like I was sleeping with my mom,
Okay.
and suddenly I had this very weird feeling that something bad is going to happen to my
Okay.
dad. So I was still sleeping with my mom, and trying to suppress that feeling. Like मतलब नहीं है कुछ भी ऐसा
This
मेरा
was when?
This was later on after that.
Okay. When you were a kid?
Yeah, I was still small only.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So it was later on.
Okay.
And then I decided कि I'll sleep next to my dad
Right.
that night. So I slept with my dad just next to him. And like that night, suddenly in the middle of the night, I felt a very weird feeling as if somebody is sucking out my life out of my body.
Okay.
Like literally that feeling, you get when you feel dizzy, you feel in your stomach, that kind of a feeling. And then suddenly I saw that this is my body, suppose this was my soul out of my body here.
Okay.
And I can see my body down, and it was a very weird feeling that this is my body and I'm floating up and I'm trying to scream, and I was helpless that
You're
time.
helpless.
I'm calling out to my mom, dad, but I don't think so they'll be able to hear my voice. Obviously I was out of my body and I'm screaming, but nothing is happening. I'm just feeling somebody's pulling me out of my body. At the end I just gave up, thinking that this is my last day. I think I'll be able to see my mom and dad.
Oh.
So I just, for the last time, I just looked at my mom and dad. But when I was looking down, I saw just next to my body and in between my father and me, there was a black entity which was giving this very sinister look. And it was very creepy looking, and as if it was mocking at me, हंस रहा था वो मुझे देख के जैसे, एकदम evil look. And that was the time when I just said this one thing, like, God help me. And I was back in my body. And the way I was crying in that night. I did not understand what happened. Like, how did I come out of my body and I could see all these things, down, and that evil face was home. I did not understand what happened that night. I tried to sleep, but I did not get sleep for more than 3 days. Like, I was struggling to sleep. Like, every night I had this fear that maybe this will happen again.
Repeat again.
Yeah. And then after 3-4 days passed by, the fourth day was like I was so exhausted with this thought and I was not getting sleep that today was that day. It was like आज तो सोना है यार, बस हो गया, अभी बहुत सोच लिया ये सब चीज़ के बारे में, सो जाती हूँ. And I went into a deep sleep that day, that I just woke up in the morning directly.
You were mentally tired maybe.
Yeah, I was totally exhausted because मैं यही सोच रही थी रोज कि ये हो क्या रहा है मेरे साथ, क्यों हो रहा है ये, क्यों मुझे ये दिख रहा है ये. The questions were keep coming, and ये फिर से होगा क्या? Because that feeling was very weird.
Did you feel that it will harm you, or did something like this harm you in a way?
And then I felt that, as if the attack was on me.
Okay.
So then later on, the next morning when I got up, my mom was like, कल तू किधर जा रही थी रात को? तो मैं बोली, मैं किधर जा रही थी, मैं तो सोई थी. तो मॉम वाज लाइक, नहीं, तू कल रात को तू विंडो की तरफ जा रही थी.
Okay.
और मैंने तुझे पकड़ा वो टाइम पे. एंड आई वॉज वेरी मच शॉक्ड बिकॉज वी स्टे ऑन द सेकेंड फ्लोर एंड माई बेडरूम विंडो डजंट हैव ग्रिल्स.
Okay.
I was like, if I would have, my mom wouldn't had got up that night.
Must
I
have
would
committed suicide.
Yeah. And in my sleep, because I did not know only. I don't have the memory that I walked to the window to jump from
Then
there.
after this incidents, when some incidents like this happen, and then you are not aware about exactly what is happening, you are a kid, didn't your mom tell you that let's go to a doctor, let's get checked, or let's ask what's
No,
happening?
my mom did not say that, but usually in India that would be the
That
case.
would be the case, yeah.
Right. My mom would still be very open and say ki it's okay, it might be your dream, or maybe you're stressed or something like that.
Okay. Were you guys religious? Like, are you guys religious?
Yeah.
Yeah. So your mom you guys must be believing a lot in God and
Actually,
all
my
this.
mom is more of a religious person. I'm more of a spiritual person.
Okay.
So she would like tell you pray every day. You're not praying. That is why this is happening with you and
Okay.
all of
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Normally,
Okay. And
yeah.
what do you believe? Like, do you think if you would have listened to her, this would have not happened?
No, I believe in God, right? I called
Yeah.
out to God. So if God is there, He is helping me out in
Yeah.
some way or the
Yeah.
other.
Is that thing that happened in your childhood has brought you into this?
Yeah, actually, actually, I had a fear
Okay.
of this, all of this. Like, so I just did not want to live in that fear for the rest of my life.
Okay.
I wanted to learn about it and know more about it
Okay.
so that I will be able to even help others
Okay.
who are experiencing the same thing.
Hmm.
Because at that time, I had nobody to speak to or anyone to guide me or to understand because I was small and my family was not that much, open to all these things. So I had nobody to understand me.
Okay.
So that is when I tried to explore about this, like what is this. And then lately also where I am staying right now, there also incidents have happened and it kept on happening to an extent that I had to call Savio, my brother, and speak to him about it, that ये रोज का हो रहा है अभी, मतलब रोज ही दिख रहा है कुछ ना कुछ. And that's when he told me that we'll do an investigation in your house.
Yeah.
So that's when I met Pooja and Sarba. So they came to my house and they investigated my house. And that's when I saw that and I was inspired to, get into this.
So what is your current condition? Do you still fear those things or do you still see that things in a different perspective जो आप बचपन में देखते थे? Like कैसा है अभी आपका mental state?
So like in the beginning, though I was like always scared only.
Yeah.
तो I would like in the night also I would think कि आज क्या होने वाला है, मैं सोऊं कि नहीं. ये था in the beginning. और ये भी था कि जब मैं दूसरों को बताती थी तो उनका मतलब नज़रिया अलग होता है. तो they would always say कि नहीं ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता है, तू सपना देख रही है, कुछ भी है, बकवास है, ऐसा नहीं होता है, गोस्ट नहीं होते हैं ऐसा. बट मुझे पता था ये रियलिटी है, मुझे दिख रहा है एंड आई बिलीव्ड इन दैट है ये चीज़, कुछ तो डिफरेंट है ये. बट मुझे क्यों दिख रहा है वो मुझे रीज़न नहीं पता है एंड आई हैड टू फाइंड आउट दैट रीज़न. सो लेटर ऑन लाइक इट टुक लॉट ऑफ टाइम फॉर मी टू नो अबाउट दिस. सो ग्रेजुअली लाइक आई वॉच्ड हॉरर मूवीज ऑल्सो टू नो वेदर मूवीज़ में जो दिखा रहे वो है क्या रियलिटी में. बट everything is not that way what they show in movies. Some
Right.
things is different.
Right.
And like also ये था कि अभी कैसे अभी मैं ये चीज़ से बाहर आऊँ. वो टाइम पे मुझे मतलब ये फियर को ख़त्म करना ही था. So I had to face it anyhow. So then how when I went to these tours, ghost encounters tours, there when I met Savio, Sarba and Pooja, that's when I learned a lot about the paranormal world. And they told me so many things about it that changed my perspective towards the paranormal world, and that fear went away.
So on this note, we'll conclude this episode. We have more episodes coming up on the Haunted Show. If you find some interesting stories that you might think कि आपको share करना है, you can put in your stories in the comment section below, and we'll feature it in the next episode. Like, share, and subscribe, and keep watching the Haunted Show.